Welcome, everyone. Let's jump right into this explainer on our formal audit dossier. Today, we're taking a really precise institutional look at the AI Safety Audit for the document titled The Geopolitics of Port Assab, version 1.2. If you've been wondering how we can actually trust AI-generated analysis in high-stakes environments, well, this is exactly where it happens. We aren't just looking at the final paper here. We're diving into the rigorous, documented procedures that made it safe to publish in the first place. So let's review the compliance workflow that ensures this asset is verified, robust, and completely secure. Okay, so our agenda today covers 5 main areas. We'll kick things off with the executive summary of the asset. Then we'll break the audit down into our dual pillars, verification and stewardship, followed by privacy and governance. After that, we'll review the mandatory standards fulfillment and wrap up by revealing the final safety certification. All right, moving into Section 1, Executive Summary, focusing on the target asset. So, as noted in the audit report, the asset we're reviewing is the first edition of the Geopolitics of Port Assab. Now, this is strictly locked under version control as version 1.2, dated May 11th, 2026, and this is absolutely crucial. Because our safety seal applies strictly to this exact iteration, any future modifications, they require a complete re-audit from the ground up. To audit a fixed target like this, we apply what we call our foundational philosophy, the kitchen knife principle. The core doctrine here ensures that AI is leveraged strictly as a pattern generation tool, always under vigilant human stewardship. Think about a kitchen knife for a second. You know, in the hands of a skilled chef, it's an incredibly powerful, totally necessary tool for prepping a complex meal. But you would never just leave a sharp knife to operate on its own, right? We treat AI exactly the same way in this workflow. It's a sharp instrument that absolutely demands human control. It is completely incapable of being an autonomous decision maker. That brings us right to Section 2, verification and stewardship. And this is really the first major pillar of our briefing. Since we know the AI is just a tool, our kitchen knife, how do we ensure the output it actually generates is true? Well, we have to use a proactive verification workflow, one that's specifically designed to systematically eliminate AI hallucinations. To guarantee the output is factual, we rely on a documented trail of truth, which we call the 120-second protocol. It's a very mechanical step-by-step audit trail to root out any falsehoods. Step 1 requires the auditor to identify the load-bearing claims in the text. These are the foundational facts that the whole analysis basically rests on. Step 2 demands that these specific claims are cross-referenced against primary authoritative external sources. And step 3, this is the big one, confirming their validity entirely outside of the AI environment. You literally cannot use the AI to fact-check the AI. The human steward must step outside the ecosystem to verify the truth. Let's actually look at that protocol in action through the audit trail. Look at the sheer diversity of these load-bearing claims. We've got historical data, like the 1993 Eritrean independence referendum, which we verified directly through the UN archives. We have major legal milestones, take the implementation of the 2000 Algiers Agreement, verified right through the Permanent Court of Arbitration. And we even have theoretical frameworks in there, like the application of Kahneman Systems 1 and 2, checked against the primary 2011 text, Thinking Fast and Slow. Because every single one of these was manually checked by a human steward outside the system, we can proudly stand by our recurring standard for this document. It is cleared for reliability, not for autopilot. Absolutely. Now, let's move on to Section 3, privacy and governance. Because, verifying facts is really only half the battle here. As audit specialists, we also have to execute defensive auditing and guarantee absolute privacy. If we accidentally leak sensitive data into a large language model during the drafting phase, the entire project is completely compromised. And that's regardless of how factually accurate the final paper turns out to be. So this brings us to our defensive posture, the red flag list. During this audit, we verified the strict implementation of privacy-first prompting guardrails. Basically, the auditor confirmed that highly sensitive, proprietary information was safely contained and intentionally blocked from the AI model. Specifically, 3 key categories were strictly withheld during the drafting of the Port Assab piece: customer names and IDs, unreleased financial data, and proprietary maritime algorithms. By putting up these massive firewalls, we make sure the AI only ever processes the safe, generalized data it actually needs to generate those patterns. Okay, on to Section 4, mandatory standards. We've just walked through the 2 main pillars, fact verification and privacy governance. But before we look at the final checklist that ties all this together, we really need to contrast 2 completely different paradigms. On one side, we have autopilot. And frankly, this is dangerous. It relies on blind trust. It invites unchecked bias. It drastically increases the risk of proprietary data leaks, and it leaves you incredibly vulnerable to hallucinations. On the other side, we have reliability. This is the secure, certified approach we actively take. It requires true human-in-the-loop stewardship, rigorous procedural reviews for neutrality, deep context integrity, and strict data privacy. So the absolute most crucial thing to remember as we look at the final scorecard is this. This asset is cleared for reliability, not for autopilot. Exactly. And here is that final fulfillment checklist, straight from the audit report. And as you can see, it shows a flawless completion of all 5 mandatory standards. Human in the loop is confirmed, meaning we had a central steward actively managing the entire process. And the hallucination guard is totally confirmed via that 122nd protocol we detailed a minute ago.
Right. And on the governance side of things, context integrity is fully verified through deep, goal-oriented prompting. Data privacy, completely compliant, all thanks to those red flag guardrails we put in place. And finally, the ethical bias review was successfully audited. We utilized specific recipe book patterns to guarantee a perfectly neutral geopolitical analysis of Port Assab. So every single box here is checked.
Let's wrap things up with Section 5, Safety Certification. Everything we've covered today, the kitchen knife principle, the 122nd protocol, the red flag list, it all culminates right here in this final signature. The workflow is officially certified as AI Verified Robust. As of May 11th, 2026, lead auditor Habtom Shnash-Abrha formally certified that this asset is robust, verified, and completely safe for publication under the AI Safety Seal standards. I think this entire explainer leaves us with one really powerful, reassuring takeaway. True, reliable AI safety doesn't actually come from the algorithm itself. It relies entirely on uncompromising, documented human verification. When you implement standards like these, you stop relying on autopilot and you start building for actual reliability.